In the heart of Elder Grove, where the scent of spices mingled with the laughter and chatter of merchants, life was a tapestry of ambition and uncertainty. The cobbled streets bustled with traders from distant lands, their wagons laden with exotic wares, each hoping for fortune, yet wary of loss. Among them lived Torrin, a merchant whose hands bore the stains of saffron and cinnamon, whose sharp mind and sharper tongue had built a legacy for his family. His wife, Lila, was the gentle anchor of their home, nurturing their two sons with quiet strength. Riven, the younger, inherited his father's boldness, his voice ringing out in the marketplace, quick with wit and charm. But Kyle, the elder, walked a different path. A path shadowed by self-doubt and the weight of expectations. Kyle's quiet nature was a mystery to the townsfolk. He listened more than he spoke, observed more than he acted. Where others saw weakness, Lila saw kindness, a heart attuned to the joys and sorrows of others. Yet kindness, in a world ruled by commerce and competition, was often mistaken for naivety. Kyle's gentle spirit became a shield for others' mockery, and each careless word chipped away at his confidence. Torrin, longing for a son who could stand tall in the cutthroat market, scolded Kyle, hoping to ignite a fire within him. Instead, the harshness smothered whatever flames flickered, leaving Kyle adrift in uncertainty. School became a battleground for Kyle's mind. He knew the answers, felt them simmering beneath the surface, but anxiety gripped him tight, robbing him of speech and clarity. Each failed exam reinforced the belief that he was not enough, and each whispered insult from his peers echoed in his heart. As years passed, Kyle watched Riven flourish, envied his effortless confidence, and wondered if he would ever belong in a world that valued bravado over introspection. Then came the day Torrin asked Kyle to join the family business. The request was laced with desperation, a plea to secure the legacy Torrin had built through sweat and sacrifice. Kyle wanted to say no, afraid of the expectations that would crush him, but the fear of disappointing his father outweighed his own dread. Each day, he tried his best, but nerves made him clumsy. He miscounted coins, spilled precious spices, and watched helplessly as Torrin's frustration turned to anger. The turning point arrived when Torrin left for a distant market, leaving Kyle to manage the shop. A group of traders arrived, their smiles warm, their words convincing. "Your father sent us for the saffron crates," they said, voices smooth and practiced. Kyle hesitated, questions tangled in his throat, but the fear of confrontation silenced him. He watched as the men loaded the crates, feeling the weight of each mistake settle on his shoulders. When Torrin returned, fury ignited. Words sharper than knives lashed Kyle. Useless, fool, a burden. Torrin's anger was a final blow, and Kyle stumbled from the shop, his world collapsing. Kyle wandered to the riverbank, his spirit crushed by the burden of failure. The water roared below, cold and indifferent, promising escape. As he stood on the edge, lost in despair, a voice called out, a voice that cut through the fog of hopelessness. Soren, a traveler with eyes that held both wisdom and compassion, reached for Kyle, pulling him back from the brink. Kyle's anguish spilled out, his sense of worthlessness laid bare. But Soren did not turn away. Instead, he offered a path, a chance to seek guidance from Master Elian, a sage known for helping lost souls find purpose. With nothing left to lose, Kael followed Soren through the forest, arriving at an ashram nestled beneath ancient oaks. The air was still, the atmosphere serene, as Master Elion welcomed Kael with patient silence. Kael poured out his story, every wound and regret, fearing even the sage would judge him unworthy. But Elion listened, and when Kael finished, he spoke quietly. For 3 days, follow my instructions, trust in the process, and you will find your purpose. The first day's task forced Kael into the heart of the town he feared. He was to speak to 12 strangers, to ask about their dreams and fears, and record their stories. The challenge was daunting. Each approach required courage Kael barely possessed. Some rejected him, their words dismissive, but a few opened up, sharing hopes and sorrows that mirrored his own. By dusk, Kael returned with a journal full of stories, and unexpectedly, a sense of accomplishment. He had faced his fear and survived. On the second day, Elion tasked Kael with teaching 15 children about kindness. Kael balked. What wisdom could someone so riddled with self-doubt offer? Elion simply told him to speak from the heart. Kael's voice quivered as he began, sharing lessons learned through pain and misunderstanding. The children listened, their eyes wide, and gradually Kael found his footing. He spoke again, each word steadier than the last, and left the group with newfound confidence. The third day brought the ultimate test. Kael was to return to Torren and seek forgiveness. The thought of facing his father's wrath terrified him, but Elion gently insisted that true freedom lay in facing one's greatest fear. Kael returned home, his heart pounding, and stood before Torren with humility and resolve. Father, I failed you, but I am learning. Give me a chance to prove myself. Something shifted in Torren. The anger faded, replaced by recognition of Kael's courage. Torren embraced his son, and together they began to rebuild trust. Kael returned to the ashram, seeking the secret to success. Elion's answer was simple yet profound. You've already found it. Your greatest obstacle was your fear, not your shyness. Present yourself with courage, and others will believe in your strength. Believe in your worth, and the world will follow. Years passed, and Kael's transformation became legend in Eldergrove. His business flourished, but more importantly, he became a mentor to others who struggled with self-doubt. He taught that confidence is not innate, but forged through acts of courage, persistence, and kindness. His life was proof that anyone, no matter how timid or uncertain, could rise above fear and rewrite their destiny. Remember, your fears are not your fate. Each challenge is an opportunity, a chance to discover strength you never knew you had. Like Kael, dare to take a single step beyond your comfort zone. Speak to someone new. Try something different. Face a fear. Each act builds your confidence and shapes your future. Believe in yourself, for the greatest transformation begins within.